Oopsie, wow. Here we go. Come, let us explore a Buddhist Lama's perspective on capitalism. All right, so for this to make sense, let us look at the greatest overview of the Buddha's teachings, the Eightfold Path. The Eightfold Path, 50% of the Buddha's Eightfold Path, pertains to loving kindness. Kindness of intention, kindness of communication, kindness of conduct, and commerce that is as cooperative as it is kind. But what has that to do with capitalism that is based upon... Oopsie, let's try this again. Exploitation. Exploitation of workers. Exploitation of animals. And exploitation of the biosphere. Exploitation has nothing to do with love. Humanity, as we know it, has been around approximately 300,000 years. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. I enthusiastically recommend the book. So, humanity has been around for the last 300,000 years. Capitalism has only been in existence for about 500 years. And yet, in that relatively short time, it has managed to destroy multiple species, do profound harm to the environment, and exploit infinite numbers of human beings to the point that right now there are more humans living as chattel slaves than in the totality of our existence as a civilization combined. There are many compassionate and sustainable alternatives to capitalism. You could read about them in the wonderful book, The New Human Rights Movement by Peter Joseph. A typical argument, let's go back over here. Let's go back over here. I'm having some trouble. There we go. A typical argument for capitalism is that people are lazy and will not do anything unless they are coerced. A typical argument for capitalism explains that, or insists that humans are lazy and must be coerced in order to take action. But science teaches us to the contrary. Science teaches us that humans desire to explore their interests and use their talents. Unless they are ill. If someone is ill, they want to lie down until they get better. One of the symptoms of clinical depression is a reluctance to pursue one's interests or exercise one's talents. Doctors far more intelligent than myself, researchers far more learned than myself, have found that there is a strong correlation between the symptoms of systemic inflammation and the symptoms of depression. They have found in a significant number of percentage of the time that when they treat someone who presents with the symptoms of depression, when they treat them for systemic inflammation, within typically a week or two, not only the symptoms of systemic inflammation fade, but also the symptoms of depression. So, competition or coercement is not a valid strategy. What about competition? Proponents of capitalism insist that competition is necessary. However, studies have shown that in every metric, cooperation will always trump competition. The fact of the matter is, when we look at the human brain, I'm looking for a visual aid, please bear with me. Here we go. We can be dominated by the aggression of our amygdala, or we become dominated by the empathy of our anterior cingulate gyrus. These two are at odds with us, as if on opposite ends of a seesaw. We can live in competition and coercement and greed, or we can live in cooperation and kindness and generosity. The second can give us a future like Star Trek. The former can give us a future like The Expanse. If you're as nerdy as me, you'll get that. Let's tie this up with a big red bow. 50% of the Buddha's path pertains to loving kindness. There is nothing at all kind about greed or exploitation. There's nothing kind about companies whose entire business model is to make sure that people die of treatable health challenges. There's nothing kind about driving people into homelessness, criminalizing homelessness, imprisoning the homeless, and then turning them into functional slaves. Humanity has the capacity to be defined by wisdom and love. This concludes our opening lesson. And now for something completely different. It is Luke Skywalker Friday evening. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I've spent about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that I can become your nerdy, neurodivergent guide to nirvana. Gotta find a synonym for guide that begins with N. If you can think of one, let me know. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. Let's turn now to the very latest iteration of Easy Method Meditation, and I apologize for the display challenges that occurred during the opening lesson. Excuse me. The contemporary practice of Tantric Buddhism is known by many names, or it could be divided into 3 sections: energy work, or Anu Yoga, simile chanting, or Maha Yoga, and mindfulness, as well as mindfulness and meditation, known as Ati Yoga. Let us begin with a bit of the old energy work. Please rest the tip of your left index finger upon its thumb. Then rest your left hand upon its thigh. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce at the crown region of our head. Our next 5 pages of recitation are going to help us to exercise the neural pathways responsible for empathy. The first facet of empathy we're going to train is profoundly idealistic. Please chat with me. In our compassion may we long to free all beings, choices, utterances, and deeds from the tyranny of the survival impulses of hating, craving, and clinging, metaphorically known as the 3 mental poisons. We're going to shift gears from idealistic empathy to practical empathy. Together. In our pragmatism, may our liberation of all others be fueled by our reliance upon the Buddhas, example, instructions, and students described by the metaphor of the 3 wish-fulfilling jewels. One moment. It's fantastic. Okay. What we're now going to do is play with an 8-syllable synopsis of these 4 pages. If you wish, you can join me in blending the recitation with a practice of geriatric squat thrusts. If you, like me, would enjoy a little splash of dopamine. Now, if you are experienced with Tibetan Buddhism, you might say what you're performing is not a proper Tibetan-style Buddha bowing. And I would say, you're right, I'm only doing what my arthritis permits me to do. Isn't it good that I didn't just lay down and die? Instead, I found an alternative? We free all 3 jewels. May we free all through thee. 3 jewels. May we free all through thee. 3 jewels. Oof. Well, that was exciting. That'll wake you up first thing in the morning, as they said in the movie Braveheart. Let's chant Mahayoga's wise similes to better master the impermanence and interdependence comprising the first fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. It is not our task, it's not our job to actively visualize. We're simply playing with words in a way that makes impermanence and interdependence and emptiness more of a visceral reality. Please. Thank you, Bill. To you I send a Yoda high five. Together let us chant. All circumstances or lots could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this body or form. So now we're going to silently and mentally recite or divide a 6-syllable synopsis of that which we just chanted between our inhalation and our exhalation. Please chant. All bodies or forms could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this communication or speech. All interpersonal communication or speech could be as impermanent and interdependent as if it could blissfully melt into rainbow light and that could delightfully absorb into this mind. Those who are defined by rigidity will 9 times out of 10 actively try to visualize this. Those who are defined by flexibility understand that not all language is literal and are happy to recite this passively, allowing the subconscious to do the heavy lifting. All mods could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into our vast empty void, like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although tantalizing to the eye, could be non-graspable to the hand. So now we rechant the 6-syllable synopsis of these 4 pages. The late Chagdu Tulku insisted that such contemplations as this could be a helpful band-aid for when we feel that we are burning with greed. Welcome to this evening's first of 5 sets of mindful crease counting meditation. So let us review the 3 pillars of Bengali crease counting. Pillar 1, the right hand. Over the span of 12 inhalations, we could advance our right thumb in the following manner, beginning with our little finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We now come to the second pillar, our left hand. We could multiply these 12 inhalations by 4 sets for a total of 48 inhalations. We could count those 4 sets on our left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of 12 inhalations each. We come now to the third pillar, which comprises using both our hands. Right now we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right little finger, upon the tip of our left little finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce in the bladder region of our lower abdomen. Let us chant an explanation of the Benzaguru mantra. I invoke teachers on action on meditation in whom view that the Benza Tantra Guru teaches. Pema enlightenment and siddhi abilities, whom may be mastered by all. During our inhalation, so we will welcome to mantra meditation. During our inhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the concise instructions of mindfulness and meditation. During the exhalation, we could do 2 things simultaneously. We could physically relax as best we can while striving to chant the 12-syllable mantra 5 times per breath for a total of 4 breaths. So here's a quick tip to do that. Here's a pro tip. We could count the 5 repetitions thusly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can count the 5 breaths on our 4 fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. For a total of 20. Let's go for it. Om Ahum Benzaguru Me Maziri Hung 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 Om Ahum Benzaguru Me Maziri Mazari Hun. Om Mahum Zaguru Me Mazari Hun. Om Mahum Zaguru Me Mazari Hun. By the way, I'm not big on magical thinking or superstition. I do not bow to the Buddhas for good karma. I bow to the Buddhas because it's a good source of dopamine. Exercise is a wonderful tool for those of us adults with ADHD. So we turn now to Anta Yoga's mindfulness and meditation. Each time we silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, we are wired to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice mind's antics of perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. Each time we silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during our exhalation, we are similarly wired to physically relax and mentally release whatever it is that we noticed during our previous inhalation. Together as a team, let us practice right now. And yes, allow me to remind you, the moment you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist philosophy, or Buddhist meditation, simply type your question, or do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window. And of course, you'll want to click the send button, otherwise it's not as fun. Welcome to the second of 5 sets of mindful crease counting meditation. Let's rest the great knuckle at the base of our right ring finger, upon the tip of our left ring finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce in the navel region of our mid-abdomen. During our inhalation, so welcome to mantra meditation. During our inhalation, we can silently and mentally recite the essential instructions of mindfulness and meditation. During our exhalation, we can do two things simultaneously. We can physically relax as best we can while striving to chant the 12-syllable mantra 5 times per breath for a total of 5 breaths. Now, if this is your first time hanging out with me or hoonging out with me, then by all means, please give yourself permission to have a learning curve. Om Ahum Benzoguru Mimaziri Hung 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 Om Ahum Benzoguru Mimaziri Hung. Om Ahum Benzoguru Mimaziri Hung 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 Om Ahum Benzoguru Mimaziri Hung. Let's switch gears now from mantra meditation to silent meditation, also known as Ati Yoga or Sati and Samadhi. Each time we silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, we are wired to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice mind's antics of perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. Each time we silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during our exhalation, we are similarly wired to physically relax and mentally release, at least to a certain degree, that which we noticed during our previous inhalation. Together, let us practice right now. Welcome to the third of 5 sets of mindful crease counting meditation. Let us rest the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger, upon the tip of our left middle finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite the real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce at the heart region of our chest. Om Ahum Benzoguru Mimaziri Hun. 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 During our observant inhalation, let us silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this. During our relaxing exhalation, let us silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease. Welcome to the fourth of 5 sets of mindful crease counting meditation. Let's perform an unusual variation right now. Instead of touching one knuckle to its corresponding fingertip, let's touch all 4 knuckles simultaneously to their corresponding fingertips and then rest our hands palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce in the region of our throat where we feel a lump just before we cry. Together, let us practice a bit of the old mantra meditation. Om Mahum Guru Me Maziri Hung 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 During our inhalation, let us vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, fleetingly notice, as silently and mentally we recite the demonstrative pronoun this. During our exhalation, let us physically relax and mentally release, as silently and mentally we recite the one-syllable verb ease. Good evening and welcome to the fifth of 5 sets of mindful crease counting meditation. Let us rest the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger upon the tip of our left index finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite the real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce at the crown region of our head. So let us turn our attention to mantra meditation. It's fairly easy. During our inhalation, we can silently and mentally recite the essential instructions on mindfulness and meditation. During our exhalation, we can do two things simultaneously. We can physically relax as best we can while striving to chant the 12-syllable mantra 5 times per breath. Now, if this is your first time hanging out with me or hanging out with me, then please, by all means, give yourself permission to have a learning curve. And of course, the moment you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist philosophy, or Buddhist meditation, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window. Om Mahum Benzo Guru Mema Siri Hung 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 Om Mahum Benzo Guru Mema Siri Hung. Oh, excuse me. We shift gears to the final silent meditation of this evening, so by all means, let us make the most of it. During each inhalation, let's try this again. Each time we silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this. During our inhalation, we are wired to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice mind's antics. Be they perception, emotions, intentions, cognitions, recollections, or imaginings. During each exhalation, each time we silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during our exhalation, we are similarly wired to physically relax and mentally release whatever it is that we noticed during our previous inhalation. Together, let us practice right now. Let us seal our practice by chanting Mahayoga's kind similes to better master the loving kindness integral to the second through fifth folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Please chant with me. May each mind of each being known be as joyfully enlightened as the mind of a real or imagined Buddha symbolized by a tikle one syllable zero bija mantra. Now we're going to chant silently and mentally recite the 6-syllable synopsis of these 2 pages, divided between our inhalation and our exhalation. So these chants are not prayers to real or imagined celestial entities. For doing so would simply excite our fundamental duality of dread and desire. Instead, we are simply using words and figurative language to exercise the neural pathways responsible for empathy. May all relationships, communication, or speech of all beings now be as peacefully loving as a real or imagined Buddha speech, symbolized by a multisyllabic mantra. Anybody with ADHD who struggles with rejection dysmorphia would most certainly savor the relief from the ever-present anxiety, especially as it pertains to our relationships. May all bodies or forms of all beings now enjoy the beautiful health represented by Buddhist statuary, depicting the blissful body of a real or imagined Yidam, an archetype of enlightenment such as Kuntu Zangpo Yam Vyam. Let us lovingly wish that all beings be liberated from the tyranny of others. Sexism, racism, homophobia, transphobia, Islamophobia, classism, exploitation, fascism, jingoism, genocide, speciesism, and ecocide. May each circumstance or lot of each being now have the safety and good fortune or boon. As a Buddha's real or imagined paradise, pure land or Vati depicted in Buddhist paintings. My friends, you have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 12 and 3/4 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's morning meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.